Okay, I'm just not feeling the whole Occupy Wall Street thing. And I'm not exactly sure why, but it's, off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to mind is I don't like occupation. Well, imperialism is bad news. To occupy someone else's home and force them to live the way that you want them to live, it's just bad news. I feel like the mob mentality of democracy is actually changing the way people think. They use certain words so much that people begin to believe things that they know aren't true. Another issue that I got with the whole occupation is, let's just think about what the point is. Okay? See, these people are pissed at the money masters, the banksters, the Fed, the elite, the richies. Now, during this occupation, I'm sure that there are convenience stores and fast food restaurants which have become occupied as well. They're probably seeing business like they've never seen before. Guess who's getting that money? I mean, seriously, just because Apu owns this 7-Eleven doesn't mean that 75% of the money that goes through the store doesn't end up going to the corporations that you are rallied up against. Trying to slay this monster, but you keep feeding it, and you feed it more during the battle. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to me. I think that if you really wanted to damage the monetary system as it stands, you would do things to escape your addiction to it, Planting food is the main thing that I see that I feel people should do. If you're not addicted to the money so that you can have food, they would feel that. If you were using money to become less dependent on a system where everything costs money, they would feel that. Alright, what if the board of directors of the Fed, the Federal Reserve, saw all this protesting and stuff and thought, alright, they don't like us. We're gonna quit. We'll shut everything down. Then they would say 3 words that would fuck you up. They'd say, call the debt. Like calling at a poker game. Putting all the cards out on the table. Because what would then happen is all the money in the world would be collected, and then you would owe more money. But you wouldn't have money to pay what you owed. How would that work out, really? I mean, really, how much gold and silver do you possess right now? Because like everybody knows, they're just a business. They're in it for the money. As a citizen with a Social Security card, you got a debt. You got a debt that most people can't pay. They wouldn't be able to pay it. And that's what would happen if the Fed shut down. They would call the debt. That would mean all the money that they've lent out would be taken back. And then you'd have to find a way to pay back the interest. I do like the fact that people are actually doing something. That's a big plus. Why not spend this time breaking the addiction, finding ways to live differently? You know, this fiat empire is a game. You don't have to play it. You really don't. It doesn't cost anything to live. But in this game that we've all been playing, it does. And it's silly. You know, you don't have to play their game. Make up a new one. It's really that simple. There are ways, there are communities that don't play. It's not a game that any of us can win. And if you're relying on lawmakers, senators, representatives, presidents, politicians, if you're relying on them to change the game, they're going to change it to another game that benefits them. It's just the way it works. This pyramid doesn't give. It takes. I think you'd be a whole lot happier if you stopped believing the hype. If you just lived your life without worrying and caring about stuff, I think you'd be amazed at how wonderful your life would become. You can do this. I have faith in you. Stop playing games you cannot win. Make up your own goddamn game. Peace out, my homie. Take care of yourself and your brothers and your sisters and anybody else you might run into.